Gentlemen, welcome to the 2021 fantasy football season, our 13th here at Blood, Sweat, and Beers, and our inaugural Pick the Picks. Now let me just address those who in the past have wondered why the need for a big reveal for the draft picks. Why not just post it, send it through the chat, and tell everybody what their draft order is? Well, for those who ask why, I ask you this. Why not? Why not have some pageantry, some drama, some showmanship? This isn't just about the numbers. It's about the love of the game. So we're going to continue that tradition with a little bit of showmanship as we reveal the draft order. Now, as I started thinking through, when we first decided that the winner of the previous season would determine the draft order of the next, I thought, that's awesome. That's fantastic. And then the more I thought about it, the more I realized how much pressure that is. I don't have any excuses come mid-season. If my team's not doing well, I can't say, well, I had to draft this spot. I get to choose, so I have no excuse. That makes it a little difficult. So then as I started thinking through, I thought, where's the best place to pick? Because obviously if it's my choice, this is a game, it's competition, so I'm going to try to choose what's going to be best for me, especially since no one offered any sort of reasonable bribe for a spot that they preferred. Well, thinking through that, doing a lot of research, reading forums, looking over all of the projections for the year, I realized that it probably doesn't really matter where I draft. Injuries, waiver wire pickups, trades, all of these things are going to have probably more of an effect on my season and my team than the actual number, the pick that I get. So then I thought, I'm trying to figure out how I was going to sort this all out, how would the choice of draft position affect you? The rest of the league. That's where it got really interesting. I know some of you have definite preferences of where you would like to draft, where you don't want to draft, and that's where it got really interesting. So as I decided where everybody was going to draft, my first thought was to just fill out the middle. Nobody really likes the middle. I guess players, some league owners in the past have said that they prefer to be in the middle of the order. I thought that maybe just taking the new guys and clumping them into the middle would be the easiest, just simply going on or based on when they join the league. So at number 5, we'll have Zach. At number 6, we'll have Don. And at number 7, we'll have Ian. Seemed pretty easy, and at least it gave me a starting point. Nobody's going to be overly upset or overly excited about being in the middle. It is what it is. And with the new guys, we want to keep them engaged throughout, so they don't have 2 picks and then they wait a while. So there's our start. Now, when we think about that number 1 pick, it's intimidating. The number 1 pick is there's a lot of pressure on that because you have to wait a full 2 rounds until you get to choose again. And so I thought, well, if I put myself at number 1, I'm going to take Christian McCaffrey. He seems to be the obvious number 1 choice. And probably most people that I would put at number 1 are going to choose Christian McCaffrey. That's the most likely choice. I know that Joe often hates number 1. And so I thought about putting him there just to kind of watch the anxiety and add some drama to this and have him talk about trading that draft pick and then never really doing it. That was kind of interesting to me. And then I came up with a better idea. I thought Keith would make a good first pick because he wants Alvin Kamara. Will he take Kamara at number 1, reaching just a little bit? It's still not a bad pick, but then that throws off 2, 3, 4, 5. That changes the dynamic of it. So will he take the consensus number 1 overall, or will he reach for one of his favorite players that will also produce throughout the season? So we're going to have Keith pick number 1 just to see what happens. So then I thought, do I want to pick second? Because then likely I'm very likely to get Christian McCaffrey. Well, that's not a bad idea, but then that sort of pushes me out. I'm still pretty close to the end where I'm very likely to have to wait a long time. So that being said, I thought, well, who would be a good number 2 pick? Very likely, whoever I put in there is going to pick Christian McCaffrey. We just recognize that's what's going to happen. And so I thought, you know what? John's always been pretty good to me. Let's have John pick number 2. I think that's a good idea. Now, assuming that Kamara and Christian McCaffrey are off the table, who's left? Well, we got Dalvin Cook. We got Henry. I think I'd like to pick number 3. Because if I wait till number 4, then it's not really up to me. One of those are going to fall to me, but it's not really up to me. So I think I'd like to have a choice. So I think I'm going to pick number 3. Let's jump to the end, because I know that some prefer to have the 9-10 slot. So while they're not so much tasked with that very, the first couple of picks with a lot of pressure, they do get 2 in succession or pretty quickly with some good talent still available at the end of 1 and the beginning of the second round. So I thought, you know what? Aaron did some nice work in providing a championship trophy. I appreciated the legwork that he had to do because the company that we used to buy from wasn't really responding. They weren't available. So I'll give him the number 10 pick. I thought that was a nice thing. That way he gets 2 in succession. Then he can go have a drink. He can go have some snacks while the rest of us kind of work through the rest of the round. So we'll put Aaron at number 10. Now, backing into that, I also know that Joe kind of prefers that end of the round quick succession, the opposite of having the number 1 pick. So to be nice to Joe, I thought, let's give him number 9. Give him the opportunity to have that fairly quick end of a round, beginning of a next round. That might be a good idea. Then what do? We got a couple of spots left. We've got Hoffman. We've got Alex Billy. Where do they drop in? Should we put Alex Billy at number 4 or Hoffman at number 4? Because then the flip side, do we put Alex Billy at number 8 or Hoffman at number 8? Kind of came down to the flip of a coin. So we put Hoffman in at 4, Alex Billy in at number 8. And there is your draft order for the 2021 fantasy football season.